Well, hello everyone. Kunal Merchant here, project executive with the Midway Village Plus team, and really excited today to kick off a discussion about the Midway Village Plus proposal as a whole, and specifically our housing plan. As a lot of you may know, Midway Village Plus is a development proposal to redevelop and reimagine 48 acres of the sports arena district in downtown San Diego into a really vibrant residential, entertainment, office, retail, open space vision. And it is doing all this at the behest of Mayor Gloria and the city of San Diego, who has challenged the community to think about a new future for this district. And we're one of the 3 finalists right now in the city's process, which is a really exciting thing. And the proposals are being evaluated really on the basis of 2 fundamental criteria. First and foremost is the ability to deliver new housing to San Diego. We all know what a critical issue that is for the community, and not only just housing, but affordable housing and attainable housing so that folks of all income levels can participate. And then the second is to come up with a new vision for an entertainment program for San Diego. This is one of the most underserved markets in the country when it comes to entertainment. We have Pechanga Arena. It's a little gray in the hair, and we need a new facility, and we're proposing a new arena too. And then also just obviously building a new community, as you can see on this chart here. But what we really wanted to zero in is on the housing today, because we know that's probably the most critical concern of the city. And what we've done is we've assembled our team, and it really is a blue chip team. We think it's something that really differentiates our bid. We have Michael McCann from Toll Brothers, Sean Rawson from WATERFORD, Aruna Dutta from Bridge Housing, Arnulfo Manriquez from MAC, Kwafi Reed from Habitat for Humanity, and Doug Austin from AVRP. And you'll see throughout this conversation how all these pieces fit together. It really does take, it's corny, but it's true. It really does take a village to put this entire project together. And it's about building housing at all income levels. So we'll have Michael McCann and Toll really as the backbone of the project, taking us from what it looks like now into getting all the infrastructure, getting everything built up, and then having market rate housing. WATERFORD will be critical to the middle income housing piece of this. And then we have all the other folks helping out on the affordable side. So we have a lot to talk about, a lot of things that differentiate this team just in terms of its depth of experience, its balance sheet, its ability to get funding above and beyond the city of San Diego. And the fact that this team's been working together for more than 2 years on this proposal. This is a long process to figure out who the city wants to work with. And our team has really gelled and come together over that period of time. So without further ado, I'm going to turn things over to Tony Manolatis, who is our chief on all things communications and PR. And he's going to moderate a really good discussion with our housing team. Tony?
Thanks, Kunal. Appreciate it. Like he said, my name is Tony Manolatis, and I'm the spokesperson for Midway Village Plus. I'm going to be moderating this discussion today. And like he said, it's a discussion really focused in on housing. Why Midway Village Plus has the best housing team and the best housing plan for the city, for the Midway community, and for San Diego. I want to start with Michael McCann with Toll Brothers. Michael, can you just walk us through Toll's experience, Toll's role on this team, and then we'll go from there.
Sure, Tony. Toll will be tasked with building the market rate residential units for Midway Village Plus. As one of Fortune magazine's world's most admired companies, we think we're uniquely qualified to provide a well-segmented selection of communities for a broad range of San Diegans. But before we embark upon what everybody will see, we're going to be the master developer who will lead in the planning, design, and execution of the land development for Midway Village Plus. The creation of the infrastructure required to support the many elements of a project like Midway Village Plus is incredibly complicated and expensive. And although it's not obvious once the community is in place, the grading, wet and dry utilities, roads, and stormwater facilities that must be developed on the nearly 50-acre San Diego Sports Arena site, and the significant work adjacent to the property as well, it requires an experienced master developer to ensure the work is completed in a timely and cost-effective manner. Otherwise, the project may come to a halt long before any of the residential units even get started. So we're bringing our unique experience with that part of the project to bear on this project.
The process that the city's taking us through, Michael, is a little bit different. First of all, it's a competitive process. And like Kunal said, we're down to 3 finalists, our team and 2 others. But one of the requirements is that we meet the state affordable housing mandate that HCD puts forth on surplus lands, which the sports arena site is considered a piece of surplus land. It's really technical and bureaucratic, but it's important to this process. So can you explain that to us?
Well, to simplify it, HCD, Housing Community Development Department of the state of California, was tasked with implementing the Surplus Land Act, which was meant to, in its very best way, ensure that the affordable housing community had a chance to participate in the competition for surplus land that agencies throughout the state of California may have. They came out with their guidelines in April of 2021, which really wasn't that long ago. Since then, cities have been trying to interpret those guidelines and really implement them as best as possible, but there has been some confusion. There's a mandate within the guidelines that says the agency has to prioritize the group that has the most affordable units, but there's no definition of priority, and it leaves a lot of interpretation for other factors that are just as important as the number of units. Some of those factors might be the developer's experience, the feasibility of the project, project's economics, and so the guidelines do allow for all those other factors to be considered and let a city or other agency make the decision on the totality of the circumstances around the project. And so we think that the city effectively has the discretion to select the development team that not only provides an ample amount of affordable units, but also hits it on the head on these other factors that I referenced.
Midway Village Plus is proposing to build over 9,000. Will be home to more than 9,000 San Diegans when this is all built out. I mean, that's a tremendous amount of new housing, correct?
Yeah, I think sometimes people focus too much on the actual units themselves and forget to consider the bedroom counts and the communities that it's serving. And so to your point, it's not just about the number of units, but the number of individuals that will be served by our affordable units. And, you know, we're at 42% of the total units are below 80% AMI. And then we have additionally the middle income units that take up our affordable and middle income units percentage up to 55%. So we're certainly meeting the state's goals for creating affordable housing.
Thank you, Michael. We're going to turn now to Doug Austin with AVRP. Doug is the master designer who really put all these pieces together, not just the housing, but the arena, the parks. Doug was tasked with making it all work, not just look pretty. Everybody sees our renderings and yeah, that's great. But those renderings are actually backed up by real work. So walk us through that process, Doug, and talk to us a little bit about your role and how you put all these pieces together.
Well, first, I'd say that very important in a project like this is ability to collaborate with other experts. And luckily, we were blessed with an abundance of talent on this team, from landscape architects to the developers who have deep experience like Mack and Bridge and Toll, and then the specialists that have come in to work with us, which have been terrific. But one of the things that we did here is we started really with the environment first, starting from the outside in and really creating a neighborhood and an environment that was going to be a special place to live. We first called it the Stitch because it stitched all these aspects together. And one of the things we really wanted was not just to have great open space, but to have active open space. San Diego is all about outdoors and participatory sports. So there are multiple venues for that in this. And then the other thing that we're blessed with is having, I think, the very best team when it comes to housing and doing housing that was going to not just be the number of units, but the quality of the units and the amount of bedrooms in those units. It's one thing to create, say, 2,000 small units, another thing to create 1,000 or 1,500 or more that are geared towards family with multiple bedrooms that have great amenities that provide for childcare. So this was all about creating a total environment. And then, you know, the architecture, that's fun. You know, we're going to have something that has great expression, but it's got to be livable. And that's what we focused on.
Aruna, you've been on this team for more than 2 years.
Yes.
Tell us about Bridge's experience and its role in Midway Village Plus.
Sure, I'd love to. So Bridge Housing, we're a mission-driven nonprofit affordable housing developer. We started about 39 years ago, and we've been working in San Diego County for over 20 years now. I've been with Bridge here in San Diego for over 12 years. And through our 39 years, we have developed over 18,000 units of affordable housing. We are our own property manager as well. So we don't just build, we own long-term, and we property manage our own developments. And currently we're managing about 13,000 units. And we're actually looking to take on management of additional units in our different regions. We do have different offices along the West Coast. The San Francisco Chronicle just announced, named us, Bridge Housing, the nonprofit developer of the year last year. So that was pretty exciting for us. But as Tony's showing on the screen, you know, we were the first nonprofit affordable developer to receive an A+ rating from Standard & Poor's. So it shows our financial strength and our ability to complete our developments. So that's a little bit about Bridge Housing. Our role within Sports Arena, we are developing part of the affordable housing along with MAC. And so Bridge is planning to develop family housing, senior housing, and artist housing within our unit counts. And we're really excited to be part of this team.
Thanks, Aruna. Arnulfo, tell us about MAC and MAC's experience and MAC's role with Midway Village Plus, please.
All right, well, thank you. So my name is Arnulfo Manriquez. I'm the president and CEO here at MAC. I started working here at MAC in 2003. And MAC is an organization that has been around since 1965. We just celebrated our 57th anniversary. And we are a housing developer, and we're playing that role here in Midway Village Plus. We are going to be focusing on family housing. We're going to be focusing on senior housing. And each of our components of housing will include permanent supportive housing. Some of our areas will include transition age youth. And a few of our developments will also incorporate, and we will be co-locating childcare, preschool components within our housing developments. We have been doing that since our very first development in 1994, the Mercado Apartments, where we incorporated a preschool. And one of the values I see that we bring, and we are a place-based organization that really focused in the community, and everything that we do is more than housing. So while some people may recognize us as a housing developer, we started out in 1965 as a war on poverty organization, really focusing on workforce, on economic development of the communities that really needed to be uplifted. And we have been having great impacts in that area. And so when we talk about affordable housing, and we're talking about this opportunity here for the sports arena redevelopment, we have to have the conversation of it's more than housing. This is not just about number of units. Number of units is important because we do need to help stabilize our communities and our lowest income communities. But where we have the greatest impact is we should not be creating units that are going to keep people low income. It goes beyond these units. And so our role as an organization and the strength that we bring to this development or this opportunity is that we begin to build the families. Once the families move in, we have a very strong community development and financial process that we have with our families, where on an annual basis, our families, through research and data, we track that their incomes are going up. But it does that because of the interventions that we're able to work with them, whether it's education, whether it's their immigration, whether it's language, or whether it's new skills to go get higher paying jobs. And so really our focus is to be able to create affordable units, but we want to be able to also help those families no longer be low income. So we want to move those numbers down not have such a big need for affordable housing. So it
Right,
really
so-
begins to look at how we
The goal
build
and where MAC really excels, Arnulfo, is not just with the affordable housing and the wraparound services, but getting people out of that system and into market rate housing, correct?
Absolutely. We have a track record after track record of families leaving our housing to go buy a home. And really what's important is that this doesn't happen in 2 or 3 or 4 years. Like the work that we do with the family, credit building, income building, getting them ready to be able to go out into the market. You know, people, if they have a choice, they're not going to choose affordable housing, right? If they have a choice, they're going to choose something for themselves. They're going to choose something they can build wealth with.
Right.
And so sometimes those opportunities are not available to them, or they don't realize that they are there. So the work that we do with the families is long-term, it's impactful, it's cultural, competent in the work that we do. It's within the languages that are necessary to provide those. And this is something that we talk about day in, day out. Housing is more than units. Housing should be programmatic, which affordable. Affordable housing should be programmatic, where we are actually moving families along the economic spectrum so that they can leave affordable housing.
Speaking of housing and building wealth through housing and moving people out of affordable housing into market rate housing, Habitat for Humanity, they live in that role every single day. And with us on this team is Kofi Reed from Habitat Humanity San Diego chapter, and they're providing homes, affordable homes for sale as part of Midway Village Plus, and no other team is doing that. So Kofi, first of all, thank you. You're fantastic. Your organization's fantastic, and all you do for San Diegans and for housing is so important. So talk to us a little bit about your role on this team and why that for sale housing is so important.
Thank you so much, Tony. Habitat is really pleased to be part of this partnership, and part of what excited us to want to be part of it was really sort of the holistic vision that we could see and feel from the folks who were putting it together. Habitat for Humanity plays a unique role in the affordable housing space. We work with our homeowners and volunteers to build permanent for sale housing. It's permanently affordable. So every home that we build stays affordable for the lifetime of that home. And it's an exciting opportunity, we think, for our homeowners, we call them our homeowner partners, to really build up the same wealth and opportunity that all of us enjoy with home ownership. Home ownership is an incredibly important part of what we think needs to be part of the housing mix here in San Diego. And this team from the beginning, I think, has sort of recognized that we needed to provide a range of options, and really has worked with us to try to see how home ownership could be part of that mix. We are a home builder, we are a general contractor, and we also provide all of the mortgages for all of the homes that we build, which are permanently affordable. And we're looking to provide homes for, working families so that they too can have an opportunity for home ownership. I think the unique role that we're going to play within the partnership is really providing one piece of that vision. This team has really, I think, done a great job in coming together and realizing that it can't be a one-size-fits-all solution. We have to have affordable rental, market rate rental, things for the missing middle, but that home ownership needs to be part of that package. And if we're really going to talk about helping San Diego families achieve that dream of home ownership and build their net worth and build their net income, home ownership has to be a critical component of it. So we're a part of this team, frankly, because we've worked with some of these partners before. We've worked with Bridge and with Mac, so we've got real confidence that we can deliver a product. We also know that they understand how home ownership is unique, and if we're going to provide those benefits for our homeowners, we have to be able to work together to sort of navigate this process. So I couldn't be more pleased and excited to be part of the Midway Village Plus team, and so I'm really happy to be here.
Thanks, Kofi.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Spent a lot of time talking about housing, and haven't yet gotten to our middle income housing partner, Sean Rawson with WATERFORD Properties. HCD, as the state agency that Michael talked about earlier, Sean, really looks through a narrow lens when it talks about priority, and that's unit count of affordable homes. But it has told City Council and the bid teams that it absolutely it's flexible. It allows the city to look at middle income housing. It allows the city to look at number of bedrooms, number of heads and beds. So it's not just this rigid, narrow lens that's just strictly focused on unit count for affordable homes, affordable apartment homes. So you come in, you're our middle income partner, and so critical. I think in the city of San Diego last year, they built 19, the entire city built 19 homes for middle income families. I have some experience in the land use world. I know generally, in the housing market in San Diego, we build homes at the high end because they sort of take care of themselves, and we build some homes at the low end because they're subsidized. But we don't build anything in the middle. Why is that, Sean? And how do you fill that gap over at Waterford?
Yeah, no, and thank you, Tony. And it's great to be here today. And we're really excited about being a part of this team. To your point, Waterford, we're a mission-driven residential development company that we develop in the traditional affordable space, the market rate, and then the missing middle, as you talked about. And the missing middle has been one of the most challenging segments of housing to provide new units to in California, just because there really hasn't been dedicated funding sources to provide that type of housing. We do have sources, albeit not enough, to provide housing at the deeper tiers of affordability, what we call capital A affordability, very low, extremely low income housing, and then market rate housing. But there's just never been that true funding source to provide housing to that missing middle. And when you start to talk about what the definition of that missing middle is, these are the really kind of the fabrics of our community. They're civil servants, it's teachers, it's public safety employees, members of labor, it's hospitality workers, medical professionals,
teachers, firefighters, police officers, right? Sort of the backbone of our economy.
The backbone of our economy and our community. And, these people, unfortunately, have just been left without the type of housing that they need. And that's led to longer commutes, to being housing burden, where they're spending more than 40% of their income on housing, and really led to just challenging family environments. And so our goal has been to, over the last 2 years, we've been dedicating ourselves to providing housing at this income band. We've delivered over 4,000 units throughout the state of California. And if you look at our portfolio right now, we're providing about almost $9,000 annually of rental savings to households making between $50,000 and $100,000 a year. So when you put that in context of, call it a single mother that's making $82,000 a year, and she can now save $9,000 a month, which is about $9,000 annually, about $750 a month. That's meaningful savings. And so as part of our plan, we'll be working with Toll to deliver 573 units of middle income housing at the project. And we think that this will just add to the context of creating a thriving master plan community. Doug touched on the fact that, to have a successful master plan community, you need a segment of all types of housing, traditional affordable housing, market rate, and then the middle income. And so we're just excited to be part of this project and think that it's a huge public policy benefit to have us as part of the team.
Before we circle back to Kunal, because I'd like to hear from him before we close out. Is there anything we didn't cover that we need to cover?
Well, Tony, I want to mention something. I probably am the guy that's been working in this town longer than anybody else, just due to my age. But having been here working in this town for well over 4 decades, I've seen that projects like this take a great vision. We definitely have that because of the talent on the team, but I've also been part of projects that had great visions, but not the ability to execute. And those are great disappointments. I can show you projects that got built like Aviara that we were involved with, the ballpark district where I was the vice chairman of that. Those things got built because they weren't just a great vision. They had a team that had the ability to execute. The thing I love about this team is, and you know, I've been around long enough that I know the other teams. I respect them, but quite frankly, this team has much more depth of experience and financial capabilities to execute. I'm hoping that the city recognizes that, because I think this should be the #1 team. We will provide the most affordable housing for the most people by the number of square feet and bedrooms. And we definitely have the best quality, and we will make this happen.
All right, Kunal. So as our, by the way, David Melmoth is and Kunal really lead this team. They're our project executives. David's not with us today. Kunal is obviously, and he kicked things off. And I'd like to hear from you, Kunal. Final thoughts. What stuck out for you today, and what wasn't said that should have been said?
Yeah, well, so first of all, thank you, Tony, and thank you, everybody. And Doug had some really nice remarks there. It's hard to top that. Look, at the end of the day, this is about building a city within a city, right? You're talking, even if it's 48 acres, which is quite a bit of land, you're talking 9,000 new folks, 4,200 new units, all the things we talked about. It's an incredibly exciting opportunity. The vision is really compelling. We really applaud the city for challenging us and the other bidders to really, put down something that's really going to make an impact, a generational impact, maybe even multi-generation impact for San Diego. You don't get that many opportunities to do this, so it's really important to get it right. And we applaud the city for taking the time on this decision. But as a former city official, I was the chief of staff to the mayor of Sacramento. There's tons of good plans. There's tons of good renderings. There's tons of good intentions. But at the end of the day, years from now, people remember what actually gets done. And I think what we all take a lot of pride in is whatever we're putting forward to the city and the community, we mean what we say. We'll do what we say, and we'll say what we do. And this plan is achievable. It's one that we're ready to execute. And we're just really, really excited about the next steps in this process. So couldn't be more thrilled to work with this team. We've been together for a while. As you can see, it takes a village to pull this off. We have a great one, and we just really appreciate everybody for watching this, and looking forward to the next steps in the process.